whole paddock stopped. Not politely, not that muted acknowledgement you get when someone survives a moment they probably shouldn't have. The entire Circuito de Jerez stopped. Engineers stepped away from screens. Gino Borsoi, Pramac team chief, was spotted celebrating in the garage like they'd just won a race. Fans in the grandstands erupted, and Jack Miller, who was directly behind Toprack when it happened, narrowly avoided a collision as the bike somehow came back upright. The internet called Toprack superhuman. MotoGP's own social media posted the clip and asked the only question worth asking: how did he save that? 4 question marks. That's not press office language. That's genuine shock. So here is the question that nobody is actually asking out loud. If Toprak Razgatlioglu is capable of this, what exactly is Yamaha giving him back in return? Because the results sheet doesn't read like a superhero story. It reads like a cautionary tale. 19th on the grid, crashed out of the sprint in a battle for 19th place, handed a long lap penalty for Sunday, 25 seconds off the pace of the leaders in Austin. The gap between what Toprack is showing in isolated moments and what the machine allows him to do across a full race weekend is not a gap you can explain away with a rookie learning curve. It is something more uncomfortable than that. And the longer this season goes on without Yamaha finding answers, the more uncomfortable it gets. Let's start with what that save actually means. Not emotionally, but technically. The moment happened at turn 13 in wet FP2 conditions. Toprack appeared to be gone. Knee down, elbow dragging. The front end completely collapsed. Every instinct in the human body at that point says, fall. Experienced MotoGP riders fall from less dramatic moments every weekend. Toprack didn't fall. He held it, gathered it, and rode away. Observers at the track compared it directly to the kind of save associated with Marc Marquez, the man widely considered the greatest bike controller in MotoGP history. That is not a casual comparison in this paddock. When people who watch motorcycle racing professionally start invoking Marquez's name in the same breath as a rookie's save, they are saying something specific. They are saying, this person has a physical relationship with a motorcycle that most riders simply do not have access to. And yet, fans watching that clip immediately thought of Marco Simoncelli, because a save like that, a bike swinging back across the racing line with riders closing in behind, is also how the worst things happen in this sport. The save was real, so was the danger. And yet, Fabio Quartararo, the 2021 MotoGP World Champion, the man who has spent years on this machine, watched Toprack beat him in Austin and said, "Yesterday he was fast, this morning he was really fast, and I'm really impressed. The way he rides is really good." Jack Miller added, "Toprack's doing a fantastic job. I had to work hard to try and claw back to him." These are not polite paddock compliments. These are competitors who understand exactly what they are watching and are choosing to say it out loud anyway. Here is the part that should make Yamaha deeply uncomfortable. Toprack already knows. He is not confused about what is happening or pretending the situation is fine. After Austin, he said, "I am happy, but not really. We were 25 seconds off the leader. I finished in front, but still all the Yamahas were together, and this isn't nice because we were at the back." Then he said something that should have been the headline of every article that week. Yamaha is pushing so hard to improve, but we'll see when we improve a lot. Maybe the end of the year, I don't know. Maybe the middle, maybe next year. That sentence is not optimism. That sentence is a rider who has accepted that he does not know when his situation will change, and who is choosing his words carefully enough not to say the thing he is actually thinking. Earlier in the season, before the cameras got to him, Toprack was even more direct. He said he was very angry with the bike. He said the front tyre was locking up and he didn't know why. He said he was fighting the bike at every corner. He admitted his motivation dropped a lot after Brazil. A journalist who spoke with him privately described a rider openly frustrated, his style being compressed and distorted by a machine that wasn't cooperating. That is not a minor detail. That is a 3-time world champion telling you, in every way short of screaming it, that he is being held back. And this is where it changes, because the standard response to this situation is to say, Toprack is a rookie, the bike is difficult, give it time. That response completely misses what is actually happening here. The engine braking issue Toprack is fighting with the new V4? It was already documented at his very first MotoGP test back in 2022 at Aragon, where Yamaha test rider Cal Crutchlow was on hand to help him adapt. The problem wasn't new. Yamaha knew before they signed him to race it full-time. They signed him anyway, with a machine that was undergoing a radical engine overhaul that left it further behind its rivals at the start of 2026 than it had been the year before. Let that sit for a moment. They signed one of the most talented riders on earth to a bike they already knew didn't suit him, in a development cycle they couldn't predict. Yamaha didn't give Toprack a chance. They gave him a project and called it an opportunity. What this season is actually exposing is not Toprack's limitations in MotoGP. Nobody watching that save at Jerez believes for a second that the ceiling is the problem. What it is exposing is how difficult it is to judge a rider fairly when the equipment is this far off the pace. The results sheet is the most misleading document in the paddock when the machinery gap is this wide. Toprack at P19 on a Yamaha that is 25 seconds from the front is not the same data point as P19 on a competitive machine. The people in the paddock understand this. Quartararo understands it. Miller understands it. Even Borsoi, celebrating a save from the garage, understands it. Because a save is genuinely the best moment Pramac Yamaha has produced all season. The question nobody wants to say out loud, the one sitting underneath every race report, every qualifying summary, every Toprack doing Toprack things comment, is simple. What would Toprak Razgatlioglu look like on a Ducati right now? Not next year, not after an adaptation period. Right now, 5 rounds in, with this bike control, this aggression, this tyre management that already had Quartararo scrambling. What does that look like? We don't know. And because Yamaha's development timeline reads like a shrug, maybe mid-season, maybe end of year, maybe next year, we may not find out for a long time. That is a real cost, paid in race weekends, in data points used against him unfairly, in a reputation being shaped entirely by machinery and not by talent. Toprack is paying it. If you think Yamaha will fix this in time for it to matter, drop that in the comments. If you think we're watching a wasted chapter of one of the most exciting careers in the sport, let me know that too. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time, because this story is only going to get louder.